it is nearly a new month, guys, which means that it is time for my May monthly fibre arts favourites. Hello, if you don't know me, my name is Rajan, aka Not Half Bad Crochet, and if you enjoy crochet content like vlogs, fibre arts favourites, day in the lives, tutorials, project vlogs, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a little like, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. So my first favourite is actually weaving in the ends of a project. I talked about this a little bit on my TikTok, but I always see this like rhetoric that there are so many people who hate, despise weaving in the ends. And don't get me wrong, it's not like my favorite thing to do, and I would obviously much prefer to be actually crocheting, but weaving in the ends of a project I don't think is as bad as people are making out. I personally kind of enjoy it because I always weave in my ends at the end of a project. I don't weave in my ends as I go for a reason, because I am somebody who freehands a lot. I am somebody who has made panels the wrong size. I have needed to adjust things, and so if I was weaving in my ends as I went, I would find it a lot harder to kind of frog my mistakes, or to start again, or to unravel a piece, or to kind of like fix any errors that I may have made. I am very pro frogging. I'm very pro fixing the mistake that you find in the piece or in the pattern or the fit as and when it's happening, so that you will actually love the finished piece. And so because of that, I do weave in my ends right at the end of the project, and for me personally it gives like a sense of finality and sense of like completion to the project, and I find it quite like therapeutic and quite relaxing, because I'm obviously weaving in the ends of the entire project, and I'm able to kind of like really get very up close and personal with every individual stitch, and it's almost quite beautiful to see that like every single stitch is a piece of me that I have put into this garment or into this piece, and I've built it up from this ball of yarn stitch by stitch into the finished piece. And by weaving in the ends, I get to really kind of almost like zoom in on the actual piece and really highlight that fact. I think it's a really nice way to kind of finish off a project. I think it's a really nice way for me to be like, yeah, I'm done, and I know that it's going to last, because that is ultimately what we're doing when we weave in the ends. We are ensuring that the garment or the piece is going to last. And that is in itself is something quite beautiful, because you don't know how long that garment is going to last for. This could be passed down for generations. You could end up donating it, and then that could be passed down for generations. And I just think it's a kind of beautiful thing, you know? So my first fibre arts monthly favourite is weaving in the ends, and honestly just kind of changing my viewpoint and changing my approach on how I look at weaving in the ends of a project. For my next fibre arts favourite, it is going to be not really fibre arts related, but I want to call it like Slut Girl Summer. I feel like lots of creators, and particularly fibre artists, have been talking about it. I think Jada of Mrs. Moon in Heaven is calling hers like the Hot Mummy Summer or something along those lines. She's doing like a Hot Mummy series. And then Jordan of Jackass Collective has been doing a titty top make along. She's kind of encouraging people to make like, you know, little tiny titty tops, obviously depending on whether they're comfortable or not, blah blah blah. There's caveats to this, but kind of encouraging people to make tiny cute sexy little hot tops out of crochet and knit. This is something that I, funnily enough, have been thinking about from like the beginning of the year and the beginning of spring in particular, where I was like, yes, I really want to have a slutty girl summer. And I don't mean quite literally, because I am in a monogamous relationship and have been for a very long time, but I really want to show more skin this summer. I think particularly if you are plus size, summer can be really difficult, because obviously the weather gets really nice. You want to wear less clothing, but with that comes, you know, maybe insecurities that you've not really thought about for a little while, comes more scrutiny from people who are around you, and often just comes with more fat phobia. So summertime and the sun coming out can actually be like a really intimidating time for plus size and fat people. And I am very much an advocate of wear your arms out. Make sure you are comfortable, whether it's hot, whether it's cold. If you need to wear a short sleeve top, if you need to wear a strapless top because you're so hot that you want to be comfortable, do it. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Unleash your inner slut, let's just be real. And Jordan kind of touched on this on one of the episodes of their titty top make along, where I think making clothes and being in the fibre arts is radical in itself, but being able to make something that society kind of tells us we shouldn't be making, especially where these hobbies and this craft and this art is very much deemed like an old person kind of hobby and an art form. I think making that and taking it and making something that is slutty or sexy or hot, I think is such a radical act in itself. But then combined with the fact that you are fat, you are plus size, you are big, you are not the societal beauty standard, I think is like even more radical. Like, I think being fat in this day and age is radical in itself, especially with the rise of Ozempic and weight loss jabs and and just fat phobia in general. I think being fat and loving your fat body is incredibly radical, combined with showing your body and being confident in that is even more radical. And I think that's genuinely such a beautiful and freeing thing. I cannot wait to make more slutty clothes for summer, and I have so many fun ideas in mind, and I genuinely am so excited to actually execute them. As for my next Fibre Arts favorite, I am going to shout out the all tied up cardigan. It is one of my very own patterns which I have released really recently, and I have a vlog which I will link in the description if you want to see more about how I crocheted this and the process and stuff, and I will also link the pattern in the description as well. The pattern does come with a video guide, so if you're maybe new or newer to written crochet patterns and you maybe need that like kind of visual help a little bit, I do have a video guide where I show you how to do the stitch pattern and some other visual aids basically. But this is the all tied up cardigan. It is a really cute front tie cardigan. I decided to do mine stripy, and the best thing about it is that I show you how to change color on each row without having to cut off your yarn, meaning that you don't have a million ends to weave in. So that is also included on the video guide as well. The kind of bonus part of this cardigan is that on the sleeves there are these cute little ties, hence the all tied up cardigan. I'll put up a picture of me wearing the actual cardigan so you can see what it looks like on. But I absolutely loved crocheting this. I love the color palette. I feel like it's the perfect spring cardigan, and I love the fun little detail of the ties on the side as well. So yeah, I absolutely love this, and if you want the pattern I will link it in the description. I am also gonna shout out the vest that I am currently wearing. It is called the Daisy for You vest, and it is one of my most recent projects. I have absolutely loved how this vest has turned out. I'll put up a picture of me wearing it so you can see it in all of its glory, but I am working on a video pattern for it at the moment. It probably won't be out by the time I post this video. Keep an eye on my channel because I will have a little vlog coming up, and I will share the link to the video pattern on the vlog as well. But it's a really fun tie front vest. I have absolutely loved making this. The squares are super simple, and it's like I've done like a join as you go method, and I've got this really fun border as well. I'm really excited to wear the death out of this vest, and this over like a fun coloured bralette is gonna be so cute. We're now moving on to the YouTubers segment. I have really been enjoying Samaby Art on YouTube. They came across my feed, I can't remember, maybe like a month or two ago, and they are a really comfy, cozy kind of YouTube creator. From what I gather, they are an artist, but they also do crochet as well. So some of the videos, or most of the videos that I've seen from them, have been crochet related. They tried out like mosaic crochet, that was really fun. They have recently, I think they went to like a K-pop concert. I'm not really into K-pop, so I actually don't know, but they crocheted something for their concert that they were going to. Their channel is really chill, it's really comforting. They also have like a very relaxing voice. So if you are somebody who's like into accents, or you enjoy kind of relaxing and calm, cozy accents, they are the perfect person for you. Their content is super chill and really relaxing. I really love watching them when I am like getting ready for bed, or it's like the evening, and the stuff that they make is amazing. As for my non-fibre arts YouTuber, I love Shari Dion. I have followed her on TikTok for probably like a year or so now, maybe even more actually, and I really enjoy their TikToks and didn't know that they had a YouTube channel. So I've been kind of catching up on a bunch of their content, and their vlogs are really fun. They are very much like a fun lifestyle creator where they will travel, they will take you out to restaurants, they will kind of do random activities with their friends, and they kind of take you along the journey with them. They also talk at the perfect speed. Whenever I watch their TikToks, I don't need to increase the speed to 2x speed, and I do that for a lot of people. They talk at the perfect speed, but you can still understand everything that they're saying, and I find that even with their YouTube, it's just like a longer version of that. If you love somebody who just yaps and you kind of hear like their inner dialogue, and you enjoy watching very chatty kind of vlogs, I think you would really enjoy Shari's content. Moving on to the media portion of my monthly favorites, I have been really enjoying so many TV shows and movies, and part of me is really tempted to kind of do like a separate segment almost, because I love talking about TV and film. I always have, I always will, and if you've watched any of my crochet day vlogs, and I will link a few in the description for you to check out, but I do often talk about like what I'm watching, because when I'm crocheting I am pretty much always watching TV or watching a movie alongside with it. And so for this month I have been watching a show called The Pit. It is a unbelievably brilliant show that my partner ended up kind of recommending. He randomly came across it on Tumblr, but it's basically a medical drama. And when I say that, I don't want you to think of shows like Grey's Anatomy or ER or anything like that. The premise of the show is that there are 15 episodes, and each episode covers an hour in a day shift on the ER ward, or in the emergency room. It's based in Pittsburgh, so it's all about kind of like the US medical system and how everything is set up. It's honestly a really interesting way for the story to be told, because I personally have never really seen anything like that with a TV series. It is incredibly engaging, and I think for me personally, I'm very used to kind of seeing medical dramas where we obviously get to know the characters, there's a lot of like interpersonal drama, basically like Grey's Anatomy, where, you know, they're sleeping together, they're fighting with each other, we're seeing them outside of work, but this is all set in the emergency room. And whilst we kind of learn more about the doctors and the nurses and the interns and stuff, we don't kind of see any of the outside stuff, which I think really lends itself to this being a brilliant show, because you get to know them on a really deep and personal level, but not in a way that I've typically experienced with any other medical show before. And there is a part kind of probably about 10 episodes in where one of the characters kind of talks about all of the stuff that has happened to him that day, and you kind of forget that, like, oh shit, yeah, you actually experience all of this stuff in one day. And I feel like that is such a typical thing for a lot of doctors and nurses to experience, whether they're in the US or in the UK or wherever they are around the world. It really kind of emphasizes the emotional toll that it can take to be a doctor or a nurse or somebody who works in healthcare. It was a really interesting story. They had a great amount of drama. There was a great amount of kind of like lightheartedness in there as well. The characters feel really fleshed out and fully formed. I think the performances from everybody was incredibly impressive. The main character, whose actor's name I cannot remember, but he was actually in ER. So if you ever watched ER or you grew up with it, maybe if you're old like me, I actually never watched ER when I was younger. I think I was too young for when it came out, but I do recognize the actor who is the main character from ER. I absolutely love this show. I would highly recommend it. The episodes fly by. The whole season is incredible, and I believe they are doing a second season as well. And for my second TV show, I am going to talk about Grosse Pointe Garden Society. This is a really fun kind of like murder mystery sort of vibe, and it really reminds me of Desperate Housewives and How to Get Away with Murder. Is that sort of vibe where we basically start off with our main characters burying a body, and we have no idea who it is, we have no idea how they died, we have no idea why they died. We kind of flip between two different timelines of before the murder and after the murder, and it's not really a whodunit, more as a like who is it and why sort of murder mystery, which I find really interesting. I feel like it is really reminiscent of those early 2000s kind of shows, similar to Desperate Housewives and How to Get Away with Murder. You are just trying to figure everything out before the end of the show, and you have your theories, and there's lots of red herrings, and there's lots of drama. It's a very kind of like messy show, but like in a fun way. It has a great cast as well. It has Melissa Fumero, who was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It has Aja Naomi King, who was in How to Get Away with Murder. It also has, can't remember the actress's name, but she played the young girl in Bridge to Terabithia. So if you watch that, firstly, sorry if you've ever watched Bridge to Terabithia. I hope you are okay. And she's in it. She's obviously grown up now. She's an adult, but she is also in the show. And also, if you've ever watched Insecure, the really hot East Asian guy who is in Insecure, I cannot remember the character's name because it's been so long since I watched it, but he is also in it. And the casting is great. I feel like every character is really good. I'm not the biggest fan of how it ended, but the way it ended reminded me so much of the kind of 2000 Cardigans 2010s kind of show that I'm really hoping for a new season. I cannot believe that we are moving into a new month. I've really enjoyed and loved doing these videos, but it's really reminding me how quickly time moves on. And that is all of my Fibre Arts favourites for May of 2025. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a little like and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And let me know what projects you're working on at the moment. I always find it really interesting what people are working on in this kind of weather where it's like the transitional period. And if you are watching any TV shows or movies, let me know what you're watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, remember to give my channel a little subscribe. I will have a monthly favourites up for hopefully the foreseeable future. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will hopefully see you on the next one.